Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Bikini in the Brain. This episode is specifically a bikinis in the brain. We have here first Junior Ashley, our my office mascot, Junior Ashley. Of course, Ashley, real Ashley.
I'm the real one. In case there was any confusion, this one's the real one. Yes.
Thanks Muscle Contest for giving us this cutout. We have a lot of fun with it. And we have here who many of you have seen in the posing videos on Instagram, but we have here the Tori Wright. So
Hi.
Little background on Tori. Tori is the oldest coach on Team Elite Physique, has been with us for 10 years.
10
last
years.
month.
Adam is the most consistent man in my life.
Sorry, that just sounded so weird. She's the oldest.
Oh, the oldest. Okay, the longest coach.
Okay,
You're actually not the oldest coach.
Yes, I wanted to clarify that.
I'm the oldest coach.
I was like, wait a minute. Like,
I think I'm the
get
youngest
what
coach.
you're saying.
Are you the
I
youngest?
think I'm the youngest.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Are
Hey,
you?
don't insult me. I'm the youngest.
Taylor,
Taylor's
Taylor.
your younger.
Oh yeah, Taylor.
She gets me by a year.
That's funny. Yeah, that's so funny. 10 years coaching with us. So behind the scenes, she helped get this whole thing going. That's a whole nother story in itself. I'll tell it during the episode because it's a crazy story. But we're talking about Fit Model today.
Fit model. I'm super, super excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that the main topic is Tori is one of many people who competed in the past, and Fit Model relit the fire, as Ashley put it.
Yes.
And you're seeing a lot of people come back. And
I'm seeing so much more excitement now because girls that would have kind of never thought about competing are like interested in it, and those that stopped competing because it got too muscular or conditioned are getting interested in it again. So it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how many like older when it goes pro again, like how many older pros who've not like competed in since whatever.
I even saw some at the seminar last weekend, some older bikini pros that competed back in the day, like 10 years ago, and they're interested again because they're like, all right, now I can do this once more.
Yeah, I've had a few too that they're like, I can't keep up with the muscle of today. And then they've messaged me back, like a few of them messaged me, what do you think? Do you think I'd fit this and not too? And then of course, Tori competed a whole bunch back in the day.
Yeah, I did 14 shows in one season because it was feasible. Like looking fit, being fit, staying committed, working out daily, eating clean daily was feasible. So you could compete more.
Yeah. Yeah. It is crazy because it's funny is that it used to just be like that. People were able to compete often because the conditioning levels weren't so crazy. You didn't need to, prep a couple times a year only, and that's why Ashley would always get so much crap too. Is like, Ashley was like, I'm used to competing, like being in shape all the time. Like this is normal to me, but now it's just not a norm. So I wonder if you're going to see a lot of more volume too, frequency of these girls competing again. Cause it is pretty sustainable. And we do have some, baseline kind of starting point pictures after this last weekend of the first Fit Model winner.
Yes.
So, and it seems pretty realistic to maintain that. So.
Definitely. So Tori, when was the point where you stopped competing? And was that because of the reasons that Adam just stated? Because you thought, oh, wow, this is getting too muscular and conditioned to keep up with for your, life outside of competing? Or what was it that kind of turned you off at one point?
Well, I think doing that many shows was incredibly mentally challenging. So then after that, it's like, okay, I need a little bit of a break. My body needs a break. Like I want to feel more, what people were calling balance at the time, which at the time I was like, you don't need balance. Like that's just not committed, right? I'm like, okay, you know what? I maybe just don't want to put food on the food scale for a little bit of time. And then kind of getting away from the routine, the structure, everything that competing was providing me, I started to find value in other things. And then it was like, oh, you're gonna need more muscle. You're gonna need more muscle. And then, so I felt like I was like going in circles in a sense because I would need more muscle. Okay, then it's going to take longer to compete, but then I really don't want to wait 6 more months to compete. So then there's more value in just spending time with my clients and doing business and things like that. And then it got to a point when, girls say, oh, so like, are you going to get on stage again? I'm like, do you see me right now? Do you see the girls on stage right now? Like, okay, so I need another 3 years. So no, I'm not going to get back on stage. I'll just devote my time to working with everyone I work with. So it just became so out of reach at that point. I'm like, what's the point? It's going to take me 3 years and I don't want to wait 3 years to be competitive.
That makes sense. To be honest, like if I was, you know, a young bikini competitor just getting into it and I saw the Olympia bikini girls and I would say, whoa, that's impressive, but that's going to take so long
Mhm.
to achieve. And I've, you know, lived through it all.
Mhm.
I started competing when you started competing around the same time era or whatever,
Mhm.
12 years ago. And yeah, I've kind of been along for the whole ride. And even then, it's tough to keep up with the muscle for bikini sometimes because I was always the smallest one at the
Mhm.
Olympia first call out. It seemed like I was usually one of the either the smaller ones or the smallest one. And it's taken me about 10 years even just to kind of get to the size I need to be for bikini. So now I finally stop hearing that as much. So I like what you said. It is more maintainable, more of a lifestyle. And I think that attracts so many people because not everyone wants to spend 10 years to
Mhm.
to get to where they need to be for that.
Yeah, I think now it's more in alignment with who I am as a person, which is like I didn't follow a strict menu plan for the last however many years, right? But I would choose chicken, I would choose turkey, I would choose foods that made me feel good or that helped me, look good for like a regular human. And I've been an athlete my whole life, so I always wanted to be a fit person. And so I feel like now the division allows for that. It's not necessarily chase, 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 chase. It's are you consistent? Do you make good, healthy food choices? Are you consistent with the gym? But it's not as um like it's still a big commitment process, right? But it's just more of that lifestyle. You can be sustainable and have a body that you're really happy with and not necessarily just trying to fit a criteria. I think that you can be really happy in your body and match the criteria.
Yeah, I run into a lot of that too, where a lot of people want to compete, but they don't necessarily want to be that big too. So you have a smaller structure, so it doesn't look as big on you. But someone with already that has wide clavicle base, and then they have to get bigger shoulders on top of it, and they're like, I had a couple girls who were like, I just want to be able to like wear a dress and not look like I have these crazy shoulders when I'm out with my boyfriend, who's not like a big guy, who's like a regular guy, where I look like I'm bigger than him, that type of thing. So you're hearing some of that too. So I'm really glad that they created this because it does create a place for everyone. And there's a place for someone who does want that, so it's just great to give them that options. What I really like about it is you're jumping back in. I had no expectations that I didn't see that coming. You're just like one day like, hey, I want to jump back on. I was like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and so in November, I did a marathon on a whim because I felt like 2024 was a tough year. And I was like, I feel like I need to do something hard because I feel like I've been taking the easy road too much. I was like, I need something hard. So I was like, I'm going to run this marathon. So I ran a marathon and then they announced Fit Model like 3 weeks after that. And I was like, well, I need a new hard thing. Like I need the next thing. Like once that fire was relit to get back into more training, more taking care of my body more with food and performance. It's like, okay, this is perfect for that next thing to focus on. Still like really taking care of me because when I work with the people I work with and I pour into them, it's sometimes hard for me to be like, well, now I got to go to the gym. Now I got to eat clean. So I think this is like a good next hard thing for me to still keep focusing on my own fitness while being able to still show up for everyone else.
I love that. So have you kind of thought about when you want to get back on stage? Is there a specific show or are you trying to keep it secret or are you just kind of training right now and letting your body decide?
I would say the last piece. I have a show in mind, but it's not something that we've talked about too much. So the way that I'm approaching it is just, rather than saying, "Oh, I'm 10 weeks out, I'm 8 weeks out." I'm just showing up every day and I'm looking at it like a marathon. Every day I wake up, I stay consistent. I go to the gym. I didn't want to go last night. It was like 10:30 at night. I did cardio because I don't know when I'm going to compete 100%, but I will keep doing everything that is needed and then I'll look ready and then I'll compete. But I don't necessarily want to count down to the show like, oh, 8 weeks out, 9 weeks out. That puts a definitive end, I think, for a lot of people. And then they hit the show and then they're like, okay, well, there's that. Versus if you're like counting up, it's indefinite. You just keep going, keep going, keep going. So I'd rather be more on the climb up indefinitely than hitting this peak and then, okay, well, now what? Then you have to come down again.
Yeah. And it was a lot of it too, is we just didn't know for sure what they were going to be picking. So it was like, do you actually need more muscle? Like, do you not? And so luckily, now that we had this last weekend, we know, okay, this is it. Like we have a starting point on Fit Model after this weekend. So if you guys don't know, the first Fit Model show happened, overall winner. We got a good look at her. They posted all over the muscle contest page on their Instagram too. So now I'm like, okay, pretty much what I thought it was going to be, pretty much what I thought. I wasn't sure though, I didn't know. Some of me thought, okay, maybe it's going to be hard for the judges to tone it back. And I was thinking maybe we're just going to have the same amount of muscle, but on softer bikini athletes, like it's basically going to be bikini with more body fat, I'll say, but it wasn't that. There was a clear difference between the division. And so, so now that we see that, now we know, hey, you do got enough. Yeah, you have enough muscle now. So we can be more realistic about picking shows. And with a lot of the girls that I'm looking at now or working with, I'm like, okay, we know you're there. We know we're in a good spot now. It's not bikini with extra body fat. That is for sure. So speaking of which, you got to see the girl over the weekend who won the Fit Model.
Yeah. So I was in Orlando for the women's workshop, but I just saw on social media. So I saw a little bit of the new division, and a few things kind of stood out to me, but a few things also I was like, I kind of expected. One, the routines were actually a lot shorter than I thought, because here's the thing. They'll say, hey, we don't want you guys spending a lot of times on your poses front and back. But you know how it goes when we get to shows, no one follows that, or one person follows it. And then everyone else just does this really long and intricate routine. It seems like they were serious about that. So maybe there was a time limit. And sometimes with shows, as we know, they'll say, okay, guys, 15 seconds, we got to hurry. But from what I'm seeing popping up, it literally is just front and back. So do not spend too much time on that transition, especially on that one. In bikini, you do that little pause pose as you're transitioning to the back. It looks like they don't want that even. They don't want that at all. So literally just make it smooth, but make it precise and quick. That is one thing that stood out to me.
Yeah, the posing was a lot different. I was surprised how fast the posing routines was. I'm actually watching the posing routine now, and I don't know, I want to say it's something like 10 seconds, probably somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
So want to give a shout out first to congratulations to, we're talking about her. Angela Miranda is her name, who won winning the first show. Yep. Angela Miranda. So congratulations. First Fit Model winner. That's a cool title.
That no one can ever
be the first
again. So that's pretty special, no matter what happens to her career from here on out. Even if she not going to win, not like it's going to happen, but even if she never won a show again, which not saying it's not, that's not it. But I'm saying no one can ever take that away from you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
It is cool. Yeah.
So then another thing that I noticed before I pass it off to you guys is this winter was really pretty. So like I said, I do think they're going to look at other things even more so in this new division, like hair, makeup, posing, skin condition, because that is a thing that a lot of people don't want to talk about. Skin condition, like how well does your skin hold up? Does it look like healthy, vibrant skin? So this winter had all of that. Now, could that be of chance? Perhaps, but I want to say it's intentional. They're looking for a specific look.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Beauty flow was always part of the original
even
bikini,
but it's going to be even more so with this.
Yeah, and I mean back then there was a lot of emphasis on, they called beauty flow. They called it beauty flow, which was all the things you talked about: hair, makeup, tan, and then structures too. The structures are going to be like how you're talking about the structures. You can't build onto a structure that much, so you can't change what the starting point is of that shoulder waist to hip ratio that much, because you can't build big shoulders if you have a wide waist. You have to have, there's going to be a very structural division, like you said.
But that doesn't mean it's like, oh, it's just genetics. There's obviously work that goes into it too. So when I say genetics, I always want to clarify that doesn't mean that this person isn't working hard. It just means that you, in order to do well, you are going to have to be blessed with a good structure to begin with.
And that's, and in reality, that's every division.
Yes,
it's
but
funny.
even more so with this, I think.
I'll have people that come to me sometimes. They'll be like, oh, well, I have a wide waist, so I think I have to do figure. And I'm like, do you think there's girls with wide waist in figure? Like, there's no division good for a girl with a wide waist. Like, figure is probably one of the worst because you're facing straight on. Like, if anything, bikini is better than for a wide waist than figure, because you can at least turn your waist to the side in that front pose, But it's funny, people think the wider the waist, the bigger they have to get. And I'm like, no, it's like the opposite, because you face straight on in every division past bikini. You have to go that front pose. Like that's the worst division for someone with a wider waist. So you get people who think it comes down to the posing with your structure. A lot of it is going to come down to the posing, hiding the weak points, showing the strong points. And with this posing routine, you do have a lot of options with hiding the waistline too, because you're really like
It's contortion.
Yeah, you're contorted quite a bit. There's going to be a lot of options there that you can work around structure. But yeah, I do think a lot of structure, a lot of beauty, like your beauty flow, your complexion, hair, all that has to be super on point. So, I mean, the model is in the division's title. I mean,
That's true. So you know what you're getting into, guys.
Yeah.
You know what you're getting into.
Yeah, it's literally, the division is called fitness model. It is like that. It's, what do you see when you imagine a fitness model? All that stuff is like primary. That's like the first thing you see. So
Absolutely. What are your thoughts, Tori?
I think similar to what you said, it's like if you go to think of a model casting call, right? And then imagine like you're applying to be a Nike model, an Adidas model, right? What do you think a Nike model is going to look like? If I'm selling fitness clothes, right? I want someone who's going to fit that brand. So I think the fit model, it's a brand of a girl who's into fitness and has the look of someone who has some athleticism and has a marketable look, because that's, again, like Adam said, it's modeling, it's in the name. So I think of a fitness model and I relate that to what I would expect to see on, say, like a Nike board or something like that type of a look.
Yeah, I agree. A pre 2020 fitness model, like what Nike's putting out there these days. Like,
okay.
Yeah, like post 2025, not the 2020 to 2025 era with the big mannequin model era.
What we think fitness
we
models
actually
would
think
associate
fitness models are
to.
supposed to look like that when they're trying
Ask
to
my
cram in our
parents what a
throat.
fitness model would look like.
So and I think that the athletic, the looking athletic, and so I'm gonna go back off of what they used to say kind of back in the day. What they used to say with the bikini division when fit model was technically bikini back then. They used to say, we want the girls to look like they were going to go on a beach vacation, and maybe they started dieting for a couple of weeks, but they were always really into fitness. And they always stayed really lean, but maybe they dieted for a couple of weeks getting ready for this beach vacation. That's kind of what we want to see in that division. So like we talked about earlier, which is, we don't want to see someone who's overly dieted in the face, like that gaunt face where you've been like super prepped out, crazy cheekbones and just sucked in on the face. Like they want to see that vibrant look. Now I'm going off of what they told me, what was that, 2013 or so? That was what they told me. So I'm thinking it's going to be the same thing based on the girl. It does look like that. She wasn't overly lean. She didn't look overly dieted. She looked, full in the face. She looked, great and full and round, not overly muscular. So yeah, I think it's a very obtainable look. And I could see her being able to maintain that look and that conditioning for pretty long, like pretty much, I mean, most of the year. I don't see most people, I feel like they can maintain that look. I think that's a maintainable look all year for the most part. So hard maintainable look, but maintainable nonetheless. Not an unhealthy, hard look where you wouldn't want someone to maintain, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting to see how this division evolves, because we saw one show, but that doesn't necessarily mean like that's it necessarily. Like that's for the end of time, the look we're going for. Of course, as they see other bodies and other structures and physiques, they're going to, evolve the sport just as every division does. Every division will evolve at some point, because the first winner of that division is, it never ends up to necessarily to be Miss Olympia, the first one, right? So there is some evolution that takes place in between that time. And maybe this girl will evolve herself. That could be an option too. But usually the look that they first go with doesn't end up being the one they end up with. Does that make sense?
It depends on who was there. Like we were saying, who shows up. They had one show where they're just, X amount of people, and this is what we're comparing. Right. So what we're saying is the best of this group could be different than the best of a group in a month from now.
Right. Yeah.
So
just like that happens with shows too. You'll see a winner of a pro show. That's not necessarily the look that every show will go with. Right. So.
Yeah.
Who shows up?
I don't even know the numbers of the show. Could have been 5 girls in the whole show.
I doubt it.
Yeah, I think it was a decent, because I know that class had at least 5. Yeah. So probably, I don't know how many were in I would like to know the stats of like who did how many people did the fit model division. That actually would be good to see. But I'm guessing a lot of girls too were in the audience, kind of spying, right? Being like, what do they look like? What do they look like? Like a lot of people are afraid to jump on stage not having
you also had 4 weeks from when they announced it. So you would have had to have been in shape. So either you started in really great shape and just showed up, right? Or like, hey, I'm going to show up. That's and I have 4 weeks to diet.
Really good point. Because I didn't think about that either.
I considered doing it, but I'm like, well, that would require probably dieting kind of hardcore for 4 weeks. And I wasn't game for that. So you had very little time to get ready.
Good point.
And posing too. Like if you don't know,
That's what I'll say.
you gotta, if you are interested in it, you probably have had to have been around the last 10 years because otherwise you don't know how to do this pose. It's different than the bikini pose. And I personally think it's harder to coordinate with your body. So unless you already had some background, you're also like, well, I can't get on stage. I maybe look the part, but I don't even know how to stand there. So unless you're gonna learn posing in 4 weeks, you also couldn't compete. Well, you could, but
I've got a question for you. So a lot of girls have issues with they don't like the fact that there's no bling and there's more coverage. And for someone that's lived through the blingy era, what is your thoughts on the fact that when you do step on stage, you kind of have to be a little plain? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's, I do my check-in photos in a posing suit that's plain solid color, right? And the posing suit alone kind of feels a little understated for me when I live in glitter and glam and I like that look. So it does feel a little bit less showy, right? Like I think of show day like a wedding day and you want all the bells and whistles. And so for the suit to be simple, bland, I don't know, what's the word? Basic, common, like that for me doesn't make it quite as exciting. So I think hair, makeup, nails, things like that for me are where you can still shine and have it feel super special. But I think one thing that when I was competing, I remember it was like 4 weeks out, you're super tired, hungry. And I got my suit and I was like, oh, that gave me like the energy I needed because it was so pretty and you can't wait to wear it. Right. Same thing. Like, you can't wait to wear that wedding dress. So I think the suit not having pizzazz doesn't kind of give you that like super exciting feeling. But I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing because it does make it more affordable for people. You can definitely afford a suit now for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? On suits, we're going to be, I didn't even think this is I guess it's not technically an advertisement because I don't make any money doing it. I lose it. But, but at our posing seminar on February 22nd, we're going to give away a bunch of suits, like a bunch of them. Yeah.
So this one's the 22nd. Are you doing the 23rd too? We're
going to do both things on the 22nd now.
Oh, okay.
So because some people are flying in just for that. And so we're going to do a full-on bikini workshop, guys. Kind of afraid to tell everyone that's I don't know how many people are going to show up, but we're doing we're doing a full bikini workshop on February 22nd. This one is going to be free and open to the public, competitors who are participants only. Sorry, can't have any looky-loos for the comfort of the girls, but you have to be a competitor participating in the class. We're also going to have a bikini workshop in the gym where basically we're going to go over like exercise mechanics. Are you lifting right? Are you doing everything right? Ask a Q&A in the gym, but we're going to be giving away a lot of suits. We're going to give away a lot of suits.
And that's here at the Contest Prep Center. So you'll hear us talk about seminars a lot. This one here is at our home gym, Contest Prep Center.
So many suits. So we're going to give away 10 suits. So set 10. So because I know I set up the deal with Kara over the weekend from Angel Competition Bikini. So Kara's giving me a good deal, the best deal, and so she's gonna give me a good deal on them. And I was like, because it works both ways. It gives her some advertising too. But we're gonna get 10 suits from her. We're gonna be doing a lot of these suit giveaways. So there'll be 10 posing suits or fit model suits. So if you come, you'll get your name in a raffle. And then we'll pick 10 at the end of the class. It's a one-day thing. It's all free. And it's just going to be, a fun thing to give back to the community. I love doing that, meeting new people. I can't coach everyone, so it's fun to like meet people and help them along their ways. I've had so many pros like come to me backstage. I went to your posing class like 7 years ago and whatever. I'm like, I don't remember because it's like, me and Tori did, gosh, I'm so sorry. We've done, so me and Tori we did a posing seminar every weekend except for like December and maybe January, right? Where it was slow and cold in Denver from 2000. I did them since 2013. You did them since 2015.
Yep.
Right. All the way until like 2019, maybe 2020. No, 2020 when the whole thing shut down.
We used to do them on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. That was tough because then it's like you showing up to work at 8 a.m. the next day too.
Yeah.
So
late
night Thursday and then Saturday.
And they've always been free, guys. So yeah. Other coaches, you guys got to step up. Other coaches out there not giving away their time. So I think it's funny because we're like, people talk about the coaches like not doing enough. And I'm like, you guys, I've always done my part. Coaches, read the example. Give away more to the athletes out there. So anyway, this seminar, the 22nd, Ashley, you're in town? The 22nd. Yes. She's in town. Tiana's going to be here too. Kimber's going to be here. Tori's going to be here. It's free, guys. Show up February 22nd. It'll be a longer day. We're going to be doing the posing seminar starting at 10 a.m. And then we're going to do the mechanics seminar. Everything you need to know about working out in bikini and fit model after that. The reason I'm giving away 10 suits, just so you know, there will be filming on it because I'm actually posting some videos for our athletes for future reference. So they have a reference on, questions, like little questions of how you should be doing this exercise right or this exercise right. So, and then we're going to do it with a full workout at the end of it all, having a fun time in the gym at a full lift. So we have a leg and glute only gym. If you guys want to come out, it's pretty fun. You can't buy a membership to this gym. It's just, limited access. But yeah, it'll be a good time to use it. So there you go. I guess that's an advertisement, right? Oh, also I got to do one more advertisement. Shoe Fairy stepped up and they're giving us a pair of shoes to give away too. So 10 suits, 1 pair of shoes, free learning and coaching, free posing. What else do you want? And a trip to Vegas. Jeez.
So Adam, where can they find more information?
I'll post it on Instagram. And also the website. You're right. The website, teamelitephysique.com. The events are listed there. Some of the events are just for the team, but this first one we're going to do for everyone. February 22nd. It's going to be the best posing class, an amazing posing class.
The day after my birthday.
Is it?
Yeah, Friday's my birthday.
21.
So for Tori's 21st birthday, she would love if you could show up for the seminar. Yeah, that's right. Right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes, especially because we're going to get the fit model posing going too.
Yeah.
So it's like, and I think it's a good opportunity if you're kind of in between, like, well, I'm not sure if I'm bikini. I'm not sure if I'm fit model. I think it's a good opportunity to see the poses, see other people, be around other girls and be like, oh, that girl's bikini. Okay, good to know. Maybe now I know where I fall. So I think you can see, where you size up with other people.
And it's much different than just seeing photos of them. When you're standing next to them, you can really get a better idea.
Yeah. And
like, oh, wait, I can do this.
The good thing too is for all of you who are new to fit model and are kind of worried because you haven't seen any shows, we will do a show run through. I think that's always important to do, like a show run through, so you can go through the full like show scenario. So when you walk on stage, you're like, okay, I've done this before. It just feels more comfortable. And it's just something you can't do in like a one-on-one scenario. So whether it's here, whether it's in Utah, February 8th.
Yes, we also have a seminar on February 8th. Go to thewasatchwarrior.com for more information. Salt Lake City, February 8th. That's almost a week away. It's like a week and a half away. So we want you guys to be there too.
Yeah. I want to plan on one. We're starting the works of planning one in Washington and in Kansas City. So Washington at Tiana's gym too. I'm thinking of doing something there. So yeah, we're going to be all over. It's going to be a fun year. So anyway, where do we leave off before I rudely started inserting my advertisement?
The conversation.
I don't know if it's advertisement, if it's free, right? Because I get no benefit from it. Just extra work. It's just extra work.
I think when you are giving that to athletes, right? Like you're providing them something, and then that also is a win for you. Because like I want my girls to do well on stage, so it's in my best interest to give my time, so that they can do well on stage.
So hopefully, you guys come out, have fun. So yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah, but all right, back to fit model, back to Tori. You know what we should do is tell a funny story with Tori. I always like telling the story because how like Team Elite Physique kind of grew too. These days I've done this for so long. I'm trying to just not grow anymore and make sure we keep the coaches that we have that are happy and want to stay, and just make sure that they always have clients. But we're definitely not trying to grow anymore. That's like that year's that's done. But what's funny is Tori, she was my client back in the day. And then she was on stage, and at this show, it was like a different type of show. And they like they announced like a whole bio, and they were like, Tori Wright, degree in dietetics. Then they like announced this, like all your background. And I didn't know she had that. I was like, but I heard it at the show. That's how Tiffany, when she announced it, I was like, oh, she's got a degree. That's crazy. She's got a degree in dietetics. And then I asked her about it after the show, and I was like, you have a degree in dietetics? And she's like, yeah. She goes, if you ever wanted like an assistant, whatever, this was just back in the day when it was like just me, and I had posing coaches I would hire and stuff, but it was just me. And then I was like, yeah, I always thought about that, having like an assistant. Maybe we could do it. You have a degree in dietetics, like why not? And so I was at my house doing all this stuff. Like, so Tori showed us at my house on this little computer. I have the computer. Do you know I have your computer?
And I would have your key because you'd be at the gym, and then I would go to your house when you weren't there.
I'm pulling it up. This is your computer.
This is a 10-inch laptop maybe.
Yeah, I was poor.
Yeah.
I didn't have much
was-
money. So this is so funny. I keep
Yeah.
it because this was how it all started. So
Yeah.
this little computer, this Asus computer, how it all
Does it
started.
turn on?
I have a
I wonder
battery
if it has
for
the
it
old
somewhere.
nutrition program on it.
It probably does. So
Yeah.
okay, so this is how, I guess I'll go back one stage. So one time,
Wow, that takes me back. That computer.
Isn't
right
that
there.
crazy?
That's crazy.
this is the
I'm
computer I
very
had for Tori.
nostalgic too. So that
I
actually
had
is-
this for Tori. This little,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how crappy that would be writing on this little tiny computer programs. So what happened was I was dating this girl. This is before you, dating this girl, and then she was like, I'm gonna check in with my coach, and I was like, check in with your coach. It was like 2011. It's like, yeah, I send him pictures online, and I was like, what? Like that's stupid, you know? Like how do you do that? And so she showed me, and I was like, that's terrible. You don't know your calories, you don't know your macros. He just gave her like copy pasted like in the email meal plan, tilapia, this like 4 ounces tilapia, like this, whatever. And then I'm like, you don't have your measurements, you don't have your weight. I'm like, I could do this like 100 times better. Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to invest into a nutrition plan and create like a PDF. So it's like, that's what that nutrition plan was. It was like $250. And then I bought this computer, which was like $800. And I was like, oh man, I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know you bought the computer for me.
Well, no, I
thought-
bought it. This was originally mine. This is my first one.
So you bought yourself a new computer.
Yeah. So I bought it. It was like $1,100 or something like investment or something like $1,000 investment. And I thought it was a waste because I never used any of this before, but I'm like, I could do this better. Right. And so I started with my clients like in the gym because I was only working in the gym. And then within like my first month, I had a client in Texas. It was like one of my client's friends. I was like, oh, that's crazy. I got a client in Texas. Right? I was like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy. And because I've been doing this gym my whole life, And then the next thing you know, it was like, now we're in, I think we've probably been in every country in the world at some point. But back then that was like crazy because this was just starting. And so that's what, but anyway, that long story short, that's where this computer came from, which ended up being your computer.
That's
I need
in
my
your
second
office
computer.
here. I like that it's in the office here at the prep center. Like it's made its way from probably 3 houses that you lived in and then traveled its way to Vegas.
Isn't that crazy? This little thing has started it all. And then what else started it all was, I was running into my point where I was like at volume where I couldn't do anymore. And then Tori, after that show, I was like, yeah, she goes, you ever want an assistant? And I was like, yeah, I would do that. I do my check-ins on Thursdays and Fridays. Back then it was just Thursdays and Fridays. I was still training in the gym Monday through Wednesday. And then it was like the second week, I think, that she was there on Thursday and Friday. And I was like, yeah, if you just want to tell your boss, it was like the second week. I was like, if you just want to tell your boss that you just, you could be done by like 5 o'clock on Thursdays and Fridays. And she's like, oh, I quit. And I was like,
I put in my 2-week notice.
I was like, what do you mean you quit? Like, I'm responsible for this adult's like income.
And I was 25. So I'm like hardly an adult, right? Like a new adult.
Oh my gosh. And I didn't like show it, but I was like, internally, I was like, holy crap. I'm like responsible to make sure like she has like, she could pay for her apartment. Like I was like, I need to make sure this girl makes money. Like I need to make sure she can like afford her bills, like I wasn't expecting that. I just thought it was like a part-time thing for her because it was 2 days. I didn't think you're going to quit. And then, then the next thing you know, she, like, I just started thinking, what else could we do to like get her? And then she joined me at the gym and then was training and has been by my side
So you better figure this out.
Yeah.
It's funny because I call it fail forwards. So whenever like you stumble upon something that was not really supposed to be, or something you kind of like maybe messed up or did bad, and then that turns into something good, I call that fail forwards. So that it's like the negative becomes a positive. And the reason I did that show where they were announcing things is because I won the overall at my first show, go to the second show. I froze on stage, was like, what hand goes on my hip? Oh my gosh, freeze. And then Adam's like, yeah, you got to work on your posing. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to take this next show as an opportunity then to work on my posing. It's low commitment for me mentally. I'm just there to work on my posing. That was the purpose of that show. And then that mess up on stage, right? The second show led me to that show where they announced my background, or you never would have heard that either. So because I did bad somewhere, it led me to something that impacted the rest of my entire life, right? So it's like you don't know what positive thing is going to come from that negative thing. So Adam being like, crap. Okay. And like what that turned into since. But then without that, what would it have turned into? Something else great, I'm sure, right? But just different.
Yeah.
Something different.
Yeah, definitely crazy. Definitely a crazy story. Now you live in Vegas here. And what's funny is, what's funny is actually a lot of it with Ashley too. I mean, I think it would have happened anyway, but that day in the office with Ashley where she emailed me like the same day.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah. But that was, so I don't even know if you remember this story, but we were in the office one day before we started with Ashley in like 2017. And then Tori goes, I wonder what Ashley's up to these days. Like we were talking about you. She's like, I wonder what she's up to. If she ever plans on coming back or something like that. And I was like, you know, maybe I'll email her. But before I emailed Ashley, she emailed me. It was the same day. The same day.
Oh, wow. Oh, so my spidey senses were tingling. If
That's
I said
crazy.
something and then you messaged the same day.
No, I thought about a new coach.
Oh, was it the other way?
I messaged you back right away.
Okay.
Yes.
So she messaged.
I
okay.
didn't want to like interrupt the nice story, but yeah.
Okay. So she said that. Then I emailed you. Then you were.
I was already mentioned you.
Yeah, that's right.
To
you
my
told your friend. That's how the story went.
I was talking to my friend. I was at her show and I got the bug because I smelled the spray tan. So I was like, oh, it's time for me to come back. And then I was talking to her. I was like, I wonder who I would want as a coach. And I was just like, you know who I met a few years ago that seems like an awesome coach is Adam, Team Elite Physique. Yeah, he really seems to know what he's talking about. And I got along with him really well. And it's not like we kept in contact. It was like really, it
sporadic,
was, yeah, just like maybe once a year or something.
Highs and buys, and I'd be in LA.
Yeah.
Like, hey, let's work out. Yeah.
Yeah. So it wasn't like you were always around. It was just, yeah, it was a weird thing. So I was like, I'm not even going to question it.
Well, it's crazy.
I want to say yes.
Like she brings it up, right? It happens. This whole thing happens. Ashley moves to Vegas. I go to Vegas. I find this gym. You come to Vegas because I moved to Vegas, right? It's like, it's just crazy how all of these things like just happen.
Yeah.
You know, it's all, they're all connected. So, but crazy story, and it all happened because of fitness, which is crazy. We all ended up here because of fitness. So pretty cool story. So I guess that's a good motivator for people who haven't been on stage, how your whole life can change because of fitness, right?
Yeah, because that was what, because I, you grow up, you feel insecure, you want to be happy in your body. And so when I decided to compete, I learned how to be fit, have a healthy relationship with food, that sort of thing. Because my degree in dietetics should have led me to a hospital. And I was like, well, I don't want to work in a hospital. No one wants to hear what they're preaching about nutrition. So competing was like, oh, this is what I've been wanting to give people. What I feel internally, the happiness, the confidence, the dedication, like the pride that I feel, this is what I want to give other people. So that's what made me want to ask to work with you. Because it's like, I know what I received from you and I wanted to pass that along to me, to other versions of me.
It's the best job. Yeah. I don't know how it's a job, honestly. Yeah. It's funny. It's like, because it's my hobby. It's not really my job, but it is my job too. But it's like, I need something to give me purpose. And this gives me an avenue to compete against. I compete through you guys against other coaches, right? So it's like, oh, I got you on that one. I got you on. It's like for us, it's different. It's, but we have fun with it. Like we compete through each other. And so that gives me my purpose. So I love it every day. Like I'm never going to retire. I need that purpose, So, but anyway, thanks for everything for all the last 10 years and everything. It's been crazy.
Yeah. It has been life-changing. That's an understatement.
That's crazy. So anything else?
Chunk of life.
Isn't that nuts? That's what a period.
Big chunk of life.
What a period of life. So anything else that we're missing on the fit model stuff or anything?
Unless our audience members has any questions about it, I think we can hand it off to Tori and ask her, hey, is there something you want to kind of get out there, especially about fit model or even your journey? Maybe something that you wish you knew in the beginning or words of wisdom. You've lived it all. So
yeah, I think so. I've been prepping now for 4 weeks so far. And the moment you make a decision to do something, I think fear comes in. I'm like, well, what if I lose the healthy relationship with food I built? Because I wasn't tracking anything. I would eat freely and I felt good in my body. What if I lose that? What if I don't do good? Like all the what ifs, right? And then that can steer you away from what you want to do. And so it's been 4 weeks and I'm honestly shocked at how good I feel, how like I feel like I'm more productive in my day. And I don't feel like I'm in prep. And I think that that's one of the coolest experiences from what I felt like every minute of every day I was obsessing about prep, my food, water, all the things. And it's that much of a lifestyle now. And I don't know if that's just knowledge. I don't know if it's, peacefulness in a sense, because I know what to do better. But I feel like the first go around, it was like anxiety, like always thinking about the show. Now I feel like it's so much just life. And I'm super happy that I decided to prep because it doesn't feel like prep. It just feels like I'm living my life. And that's what I think is the coolest thing, is helping other people compartmentalize the difference between I have a life and I socialize and I do things, and then this is the food I eat. And then I go to the gym and then I go hang out with friends. And like you can do both of those with the fit model. That's what I found so far.
Cool.
Very well said.
Yeah. And then also Tori's a posing coach for us. Has been doing it for 10 years with us. Yes. And she also has your like basics. Explain your PDF book that you have too.
Yeah. So I have an online e-course basically. So my vision for that was I wanted to create what was similar to like P90X in posing version. So sometimes people don't want to come in person. It's awkward. You kind of want to know what you're doing before you go in. It's like, oh, I need to get in shape before I go into the gym. Seems backwards, right? You got to come to posing class to learn. But I wanted people to be able to learn in their own space and kind of get the principles, get the foundational pieces, learn the common mistakes, have the ability to practice on your own, but with a one-on-one instructor, basically. So I created the bikini posing course, and then now with Fit Model coming out, I'm working on the online course basically for that. And what's cool is that it's adjustable. So anything that comes out with information that they post, I change the course. Or, they want more of this or faster routine, I can update the course. So it's basically like an online classroom for posing.
Cool. And how do they find it?
The current bikini posing is it's Pose Like a Pro poselikeapro.thinkific.com. And then I'm working on the Fit Model one right now.
Okay, cool. How's it say again? Pose Like a Pro.
Yep. Pose Like a Pro Thinkific, THINKIC.com.
Oh, Thinkific. Okay. All right, cool. So yeah, I guess with that, guys, thank you so much with everything. Please leave your comments or questions in the comments and we'll get to them. Thank you guys so much. Hopefully we'll see a lot of you at the posing seminars coming up. Bye.